Hi guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing well. Man, I haven't seen you guys in forever, it feels. Forever. We've done too much crazy. I can't wait, I think, to get back to normal saying Judge Fleischer. It's just too much. There's just too much. Hey Maria, how's jail? Poor Maria. Poor Maria's in jail for 11 more days. And it's hilarious. Every single person, even after you tell them you are not Fozzie, still thinks you're Fozzie. I think Fozzie even thinks you're Fozzie. All right. So we go from crying crazy Joe Kelly to crazy bullying Mike McDonald. And Irish people are not crazy, guys. Just putting it out there. Here we go.
Noted, brother.
Okay, thank you very much. Redirect examination.
Mr. Mueller asked you a couple questions. One of the questions was related to recorded statements. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And did you actually engage in dialogue with both of the witnesses in this case?
Yes.
So Mark Casero, you conversed back and forth, isn't it?
Yes.
And Candace McDonald, now Ruiz.
Yes, multiple times.
Okay. And did you receive a written statement? So what are the ways that you can get a recitation of what happened from a witness to a crime?
Either written or an audio statement.
Okay? And in this case, did you get one or the other from both of these witnesses?
Yes, I required it.
And which format did you get?
I got written from both.
Okay. So they filled out in their own handwriting a voluntary statement,
Yes.
and they provided it to you?
Yes.
With regard to Mr. Mueller's questions about knowing when and where and how these alleged phone calls happened, you previously talked about robbery surveillance video, right?
Yes.
Okay. So when people commit robberies, be it something minor like porch pirates stealing somebody's Amazon package, or actually a strong-arm street robbery where one or more people roll up on somebody and demand their sunglasses, phone, wallet, purse, whatever they have. Are the police normally there, standing there, watching, looking at their watch, saying, oh crap, a robbery's happening at 6:58 p.m.?
No, I wish we were.
Okay, so it probably wouldn't go down if you were there, right?
Probably not.
Okay. When it happens like that, there is no law enforcement around, right?
Yes.
Okay. Was there any law enforcement around when the suspect supposedly recorded phone calls of the victim in this case?
No.
Okay. Just like the robbery, what do you rely upon to figure out how the crime happened, what evidence to gather?
Victim statements.
Okay. The victims tell you what?
Where, when, and how.
Where, when, and how. And you have to trust that they're telling you what happened, correct?
That's true.
In an accurate manner.
Yes.
Okay. When things don't add up, does it cause you concerns?
Absolutely.
Okay. And if you have those concerns, do you decide to maybe not pursue the matter further as an investigation?
Yes.
Okay. You've done that in robbery cases?
Yes.
Have people staged robberies in your opinion?
Yes.
Okay. And somehow you see through the nonsense and say, we don't have a crime here.
That's true.
Okay. But in any event, you didn't personally witness most of the things that you investigated.
That is true.
Okay. How many of the things that you investigate or ultimately submit charges on do you investigate? How many do you actually witness?
1 or 2%.
Okay.
Very, very, very few.
In your time as an officer of the law for 20 years, how many times have you actually seen a crime happen in front of your eyes?
A handful.
Okay. So very infrequent.
Very infrequent. Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Thank you very much. Any questions, follow up on this on the subject this morning?
No, thank you, Ms. Secretary.
Thank you. And release the witness.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You may sit down. Thank you
Wait a
very
minute,
much.
there's one last, before the second is, one question. we touched base earlier, people get on the phone and say, hey, so you know I'm recording this. And somebody says, well, I don't consent, but keeps talking anyway. What do?
How do you mean?
Well, a paid detective
Does it apply or
says,
does it not apply?
well, if somebody's calling up and says, I'm gonna record this conversation, and the person on the phone says, well, I don't consent, but continues to talk. Now they violated the law.
No.
Nothing further.
All right, thank you. And actually, I'd like to ask, do any of the jurors have any questions? All right, I see a couple. Okay, good. I'm glad I asked. Don't forget to flag me down if you have those questions before I go through with this.
Do I need to write it down?
Yes, you have to write it down. The first confirmed. Very detective, you almost got us here, but I have 2 more questions for you.
No problem.
The first one is, did you seek cell phone records as an example for lengths of call, texts, etc., to try and match the files?
Yes, I did. I did a search warrant actually through T-Mobile, I believe. And the problem was that the phone records were too old. They did not have that any longer.
Any follow-up questions of the detective based on that question?
No.
Mr. Mueller?
No question.
All right. And the next question is there proof either party was out of state at the time of the recording?
None that I'm aware.
Any questions?
No.
Any follow-up questions?
No, but I did have the other question. May I ask him?
In regards to the first question that was
Yes.
asked? Yes.
So you said it was too old?
That's what they said, yes.
Too old, so those audio recordings were too old to match up.
T-Mobile responded that they only keep their files for 24 months.
No, the calls were already over 2 years old.
That's what they said. That's what they said in the search warrant that was returned.
Nothing further.
How did where did you obtain that search warrant?
It's just, I don't know, I submitted the files, probably last month. I believe it was last month.
All right. I asked questions, so I'll ask the parties again. Any follow-up based on my question?
No, yeah.
Mr.
No,
Mueller?
Your Honor.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Now you may step down. All right, let's go ahead and call the next witness, and then we'll take one more brief after the break before we're done for the day.
Before we close the witness warning, have something just outside of the presence of the jury very quickly.
Okay, then we will actually then take our afternoon break now to be efficient. So during this afternoon recess, you will have to converse amongst yourselves with anyone else on any subject. Connected with the trial, or view off the list of other comments during the trial, or any person connected with this trial, but any new information included without limitation. Newspapers, television, radio, or internet, or from or express any opinion on any subject connected with this trial until this trial is submitted to you. It is about 3:25, so we'll see everybody in 15 minutes. All right? 3:40.
All rise for the jury.
The record reflects that the jury has left the courtroom. Mr. Mueller, you wanted to address something outside the presence of the jury.
Just very quickly, Judge, I've had Ms. Ruiz on the stand at the preliminary hearing. I made reference to her testimony yesterday. It is the defense's deep concern that she is filled with bile towards my client and will take every opportunity to say something salacious, gratuitous, and potentially inflammatory to the point of being mistrial. She, when I asked her the same basic questions I asked both of these previous witnesses, how do you know when this occurred? How do you know the simple questions? And I preliminary hearing has been very calm. She also says, well, I know who he is and I know he did it. Now, I'm very concerned, we're gonna get up here and we're gonna ask some very low-key questions and she's gonna just spill something all over the courtroom just because she wants to lash out at Mr. McDonald. So we've asked the state at this time to take a few minutes to admonish her just to answer the questions. I'm very concerned that we're not gonna be able to get through this witness without a mistrial. I saw her on the witness stand at preliminary hearing and I'm very concerned about this.
All right, I appreciate that being brought to my attention. Skate, have you already admonished the witness about answering the questions accordingly?
Yes, and Your Honor, I conducted the preliminary hearing, and I would disagree with that characterization of her testimony.
All right, I would just ask you to remind her to make sure she is answering the questions accordingly. And Mr. Mueller, things got quite heated with Mr. DeCiro when some questions were asked of him. So I would ask you to also restrain yourself should you become emotionally charged during
I'm a lawyer.
of the examination of the witness.
I'll show this judge.
All right, I appreciate that. All right, go ahead and everybody to cover break if you can. We'll see you in about 10 minutes.
And Your Honor, you want us to go and admonish the
If
witness?
you don't mind. I think she would let me here. Thank you. Can I just help her? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, we have the jury waiting. Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so then any objections I need to address before we bring the jury back in?
I'm not sure, yes, Judge. I'm formally not to object to the use of the introduction of divorce decree. I think we're just adding explanatory material that had literally nothing to do with the,
Can I see the divorce decree?
Yes, Your Honor. And
What about it is explanatory, Mr. Miller?
Judge, it goes through their finances, it goes through their detailing. We're going to distract the jury with 20 pages of irrelevant detail. The question, and the only question here is whether those audio files are phone calls, and secondarily, if this Mr. McDonald made them, and tertiarily, whether they were made in the state of Nevada. Now, none of that it has anything to do with that divorce decree.
All right, and this, Mr. Why do you need the divorce decree?
Sure, and Your Honor, on at least one of the phone calls, they were, the defendant and Candace McDonald, they discussed the fact that the divorce decree hasn't been signed. At one point, Candace says something along the lines of, just sign the decree, I want to get divorced. And then there's a later call in which she refers to the decree as already having been signed. It helps to establish the time at which this happened. And those are certified records. I think ideally the entire thing should be admitted, so there's nothing in there that needs to be redacted, and I don't want to give the jury the impression that we're only admitting part of something. So that document is presumed authentic pursuant to NRS 52.125.
I don't think he's objecting to on that grounds. He's objecting as being inflammatory in what way?
But just, it's distracting, it's irrelevant to the issue at hand.
And I don't see how, sorry.
With deference to my colleague, I understand it, but what she's addressing is a very tertiary issue. The issue is whether that divorce decree, I guarantee if it goes back to the jury, every single one of them is going to read it page to page before they even start deliberating. And it has nothing to do with whether the audio recordings were made by Mr. McDonald and whether they're phone calls, which is the issue that brings us here today.
So I respectfully disagree. If the information provided by Ms. Mishler here in open court proves true of the phone calls, then the timing of the divorce decree does become relevant, and this establishes a timeline. In light of my ruling, would you like me to give some kind of instruction to them that this is only for purposes of establishing the timeline?
No. If you're going to do that, I'd rather just live with them reading it. I don't believe that we're adding anything to the trial and we're slowing it down and distracting the jury, but you were my say.
Okay, all right, and your objection is noted. All right, then you can certainly lodge the objection in front of the jury if you'd like, and I'll just rule the same way for the same reasons, unless something surprising happens during the testimony. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in the jury.
Your Honor, I was suspicious that this occurred, but as far as pointing to this particular document, the defendant, while he was reviewing it, underlined portions of this document. So, I mean, that's probably going to draw more attention.
I feel like I drew this picture when I was in 3rd grade. I feel maybe Nevada owes me some money. That looks pretty darn close, guys.
Do whatever you underlined.
Do you have a copy of that document?
We don't, this is a certified document.
Right, it has the seal embedded in it.
I want to take a look.
Sure.
tell her to hold on real quick.
I don't think, unless he objects, I don't care. There's a slight underline in one of the provisions.
Well, I understand. I actually saw the underline myself. I wasn't sure if it was there before or after. The underline is to draw attention to, or at least, I think, to emphasize that he has the right to visit his children. But perhaps we can print out another copy. I can try to find it out. I don't know if there's a way that way it's done. I'll like print out another copy. Is there going to be an objection to its authentication?
No, Your Honor. I'm going to put it in the copy and just switch out the page, no objection.
Okay, can you give me that case number?
Your Honor, it is D-15-518905.
518, I'm sorry.
518905.
Divorce decree 7/2018, is that right? I got
I
it.
think what you're looking for would be about late October
It's
2016.
received 10/21/2016. Actually, is it correct? Was that you? All right, you want to just take a quick peek at this? It's the same one.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, all right. Here we go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you, Carol.
Can't we just take the last page off and stick it on the back? And then I'll be certified.
No objection.
Okay, great.
You want me to take?
Oh, yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be great.
And I'll just stick the last page on.
All right, let's go ahead and bring the jury in.
All rise for the jury. Jury is all present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Please be seated. Welcome back, and we're ready to proceed with our next witness. State, if you could call your next witness, please.
The state calls Candace Ruiz.
Thank you. And come here to the witness stand.
You just sound this word, the testimony you going to give in this section shall be the truth, and the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please be seated, and then state so your name for the record.
My name is Candace Ruiz, Candaceruiz.
Ms. Ruiz, I'm just going to remind you before you proceed with Ms. Lord, if you could speak into that microphone, so everything is being recorded, we want to make sure we're capturing you, all right? Thank you. When you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Is it okay if I call you Candace?
Yes.
And Candace, what do you do for a living?
Let's
I am
go.
a teacher. I am the English.
Teachers rock, teachers roll. So, it's time. Candace is on the stand. I've never seen this before, so if you've seen this before, don't answer. But how many of you think she's gonna just bury this man right now? How many of you think verbally she is going to choke slam him? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go.
Department chair at Bonanza High School. I teach 12th grade English, 4 sections of English and 2 sections of credit retrieval
And how long have you been working at Bonanza High School?
for 5 years,
And how long have you been a teacher?
for 8 years.
And are you familiar with a person by the name of Michael Lee McDonald?
I am.
And do you see Michael Lee McDonald here in the courtroom today?
I do.
Would you please point at him and describe what he is wearing?
He's here in a white shirt and a blue striped tie.
Jacket or no jacket?
No jacket.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant?
It will still reflect.
Thank you. And who is the defendant to you, Candace?
He is my ex-husband.
And how did you meet the defendant?
I met him in 2008 at a country line dancing bar through a mutual friend.
And when was that?
2008, November of 2008.
And when did you get married?
September of 2010.
And while you were married, what did the defendant do for a living?
He was in IT, a professional IT. So he worked on computers and at one point worked at it's called Geotab. It was like a tracking device company where they would track fleets of vehicles like, let's say, UPS. He could fix computers, build computers, and he did a lot of like freelance side work as well.
Did the defendant ever serve in the military?
No.
And do you and the defendant have any children together?
We do. Mason, who's 8, and Malia, who's 5.
And boys, girls?
Malia is a girl, and she was born in July of 2014, and then Mason, 8-year-old boy, June 16, 2011.
And when did you file for divorce?
July of 2015.
And when did your divorce become finalized?
October of 2016.
Was your divorce case handled in the family court here in Clark County, Nevada?
It was.
And since you and the defendant have 2 children together, were there also child custody issues that were handled in the family court here in Clark County, Nevada?
Yes.
And around the time of your divorce, did you have any telephone conversations with the defendant?
Yes.
And regarding those conversations, who typically would call whom?
I mean, at that time, it would depend. If it was a weekend that he had the kids, he might have the kids call me, or if it was something that was pressing, I would call him. You know, it would kind of go back and forth.
Okay, so fair to say it would vary?
Yes.
Like sometimes you would call him, sometimes he would call you?
Sure, yes.
And since your divorce, have you remarried?
I have.
What is your spouse's name?
Joseph Ruiz.
And I'm assuming that that's why your last name is Ruiz, you've taken his name?
Yes.
And how did you meet your current husband?
He was my Bible study teacher years ago. Probably about 12 years ago. We were really good friends back then, and then just lost touch over the years, and then reconnected after the divorce.
And at the time of your marriage to the defendant, was your last name McDonald?
It was, yes.
And so I want to turn your attention specifically to the period of August 1st, 2016 to the end of November 2016. This is kind of prying, but around that time period, was your daughter Malia having some significant health issues?
She was.
Can you describe those, please?
Sure. At the end of August of 2016, well, even prior to that, she was having some issues with constipation. And we had seen her pediatrician, and, you know, we were just trying to figure things out, like adding things, taking things out of her diet. But in 2016 of August, she had what's called a rectal prolapse.
Could you explain what that is?
Yeah, and it's really graphic, so I'm sorry to like. Basically what happens is a child strains too hard and they like literally push their actual rectum out of their body. So that happened, and obviously, you know, I'm like not a medical person, so I was like terrified. And I didn't know why that had happened like initially. So I took her to Summerlin ER immediately. She was in pain too, you know, which was like, made me really nervous as a mom to like have to, number one, see that, but also like to see her in pain. So I took her to the ER at Summerlin Hospital. The ER doctor came in immediately. The good news about the rectal prolapse is that it had retracted, so on its own. I was made aware by the doctor that if there was not a retraction, then they would have to manually push it back in. And so basically the ER doctor explained to me there that this is common, it happens. I mean, it's not super common, but it does happen in children with constipation. She did an exam on Malia, and even in during the exam, Malia's demeanor it was better, and a lot of that is because once the rectum retracts, there's no more pain. So she was, basically the ER doctor told me that at that point, I needed to follow up with her pediatrician. The ER doctor mentioned her diet, and I had even explained, she was constipated and we were trying to figure that out. They suggested that she be on a daily dose of what's called Miralax. It's something that pulls water into the intestines. It can be dissolved in like water or juice. So they suggested that she take that. And then also it was mentioned to me that a large culprit of kids' constipation could possibly be gluten or dairy. And it was suggested to me at the ER that we should cut those particular things from her diet. And obviously, at that point, this is like, and aside from that, explained that the only way to heal a rectal prolapse is to let it heal on its own. It has to form scar tissue, and the goal from what the ER doctor shared with me was to make sure that her bowels were soft. Because as long as her bowels weren't soft, or were soft, and she was not straining, then she wouldn't push the rectum out again. So it was really important that we keep water for her at all times, that, the ER doctor had asked how much juice she was having. So, to limit that, but that we should still be giving her apple juice or prune juice, pear juice. Those are things that kind of like soften the bowel, and just to watch, potentially taking out gluten and dairy as one of the suggestions that might help keep her bowel movements.
Novice. Come on, doctors. Colace. We just need a little bit of syrup, of maple syrup. That syrup, and they'll be fine.
And don't worry, I'll move on from this topic soon. But you mentioned gluten and dairy. Was she determined to have intolerances to one or both of those?
Yes, both.
Gluten and dairy?
Yes, and throughout that entire process, we met with the pediatrician who also affirmed gluten and dairy were like the most, like triggers for constipation. So again, I was hearing it a second time, like, okay, this definitely needs to be out of her diet. The pediatrician then suggested that we see a gastroenterologist just to be sure that there were no other issues, like, for example, cystic fibrosis could be an issue. Literally, the gamut, could be Crohn's disease, just to make sure. He didn't feel that she did have those. However, as a precaution, he said anytime I ever have a patient that has a prolapse, I always have them see a pediatric GI, and that pediatric GI also happened to be a surgeon. So I took her to the pediatric GI, and same situation. Gluten and dairy was suggested to be cut from her diet. I had already done that at that point, and she was doing better without gluten and dairy. And the pediatric GI, again, explained that this was not like a surgical process, because as far as the rectum is they don't do surgeries for this type of thing. And again, the best way to heal it is making sure that her bowels are soft, she's not straining.
Not Colace, although Colace would help. This is what I meant. This is all she needed. That's it. That's it. All she needed was that. And she would have been fine. She didn't even need the doctor. Life saver for children's poop.
She's properly hydrated, so that water is getting into the intestines to move everything. And then it was suggested also from the pediatrician that I see an allergist to see if there might be some other food sensitivities or allergies that she might have. So I did that as well. I took her to an allergist, and we also found out that not only did she have intolerances to dairy and gluten, but she's also allergic to oranges, strawberries, wheat, tomatoes, and raspberries. And it also seems that, even now, just as this process has gone anything with citric acid in it bothers her. So she's got a whole slew of allergies. So obviously at that point, I cut all of that stuff out of her diet. And then it was also suggested to me by the pediatric GI to keep a food journal. So just to see if there was like a correlation between her constipation and like a certain food that she was eating regularly.
Okay, let me stop you there and just ask some follow-ups. So around, it sounds like it's fair to say that you had to take Malia to a number of specialists.
Yes.
Okay. And you said that you had her allergy tested.
Yes.
Around when was it that you had her allergy tested?
October of 2016. Actually, well, I saw the pediatrician because she had her prolapse the last weekend of August. So I saw the pediatrician immediately after that, may have been like the first week of October, and then every other subsequent test or doctor that we met with after that would have been in October of 2016.
Okay. And so while this was going on, you already testified that around this time period you had phone conversations with your ex-husband, the defendant.
Yes.
And sometimes would you discuss the status of Malia's health related
Yes.
to the rectal prolapse and
Yes.
the other things you talked about?
Yes.
And now switching gears a bit, are you familiar with a Facebook site by the name of Nevada Court Watchers?
I am.
And how did you come to be familiar with it?
Well, I was contacted by a stranger on Facebook that I didn't know, and that particular stranger had asked me, or just like sent me a message and said like, hey, did you know that all of your divorce hearings are on YouTube, and that there's this group called Nevada Court Watchers talking about your divorce case? And I'm like, no.
Okay. And after you got that message, what did you do?
Well, I looked it up, of course. I went to Facebook and I'm like, because I want to know, like, if someone's talking about this or if that was true. I mean, I don't know. Like, again, this is just some random person that messages me. So I looked up Nevada Court Watchers and what that person said was true. And then I looked up the videos on YouTube and found that every single one of our divorce hearings have been uploaded to YouTube.
And are you familiar with an individual named Mark DeCiro?
I am.
Okay. And how did you come to be familiar with him?
Well, at the time, I think he must have been, I don't know if he was running the group on Nevada Court Watchers, but he seemed to be posting about my case personally, so I'm sort of like, well, I want to know what's going on here. So I don't remember if I may have reached out or he may have reached out via Facebook, but I just was really, number one, concerned that all of that information was out there, and number two, I'm also like, why are you so interested in my case? I don't know this person in terms of, like, just as a sidebar, he worked at 94.1 and my close friend was a DJ, or she would like do overnights there. So they did work together and I knew that she worked with him, but on a personal level, you know, I don't know this person. And I also don't know why he's talking about my case or why he's so interested. And so I wanted to know, and also I wanted to take those videos down. I didn't want our personal information to be out there. There's very identifying features in those videos that talk about where I work and my children's names, and you know, I'm like, do you have any, so in the message I'm asking him like, how do I get these videos down? Like, I don't want my information out there for the world to see, and not to mention these people go to YouTube and then they look me up on Facebook and they like message me and talk to me about like very personal things about my life that, you know, I mean, divorce is awful and you don't want anyone to know any of that. And so that's how I got acquainted with him. I'm like, I want to know what the purpose of this group was, first of all. Second of all, why is everyone talking about me and my personal business? And also just, I'm like, did Mark do this? I don't know, like, I don't know. And so I think that's that was my first contact with him, was just wanting to know why and if there was anything I could do to get my information off of his Facebook page and off of the internet.
Okay, and you said a lot, so I want to go
Sure.
back to a couple of things. So when you talk about the videos that you wanted, that you saw and that you wanted to come down, you testified that you saw those on YouTube, correct?
Yes.
When you saw them on YouTube, did YouTube indicate what channel, for lack of a better word, had posted them?
I don't know if it was, I over time I've learned what it was, but I don't know if it was, there was a man named Steve Sanson that Michael was friends with. I don't know if it was his personal, or he runs another page called Veterans in Politics. I don't remember which, but it was one of the two. He had two separate YouTube pages, which obviously at that point I'm like further investigating, like who is this person that I do not know that's posting my personal information, and like what is this organization as well.
And so prior to this random stranger sending you a Facebook message, were you aware that hearings from your family court case were being posted on YouTube and
No.
on the internet?
No.
And okay, and you stated that that you and Mark had a mutual friend. So prior to you becoming aware of Nevada Court Watchers, had you ever met Mark Desiro in person?
I did once. It was at the radio station, and I'm embarrassed to say, but Hanson, the band, was in town, and they were doing like a radio interview, and my best friend like happened to love Hanson, and I was a fan too. So she was like, "Hanson's coming into the studio. You should come." And I'm like, "Oh my god." So it was like brief, you know, like he was in the studio, and I remember like shaking his hand and saying hello. But aside from that, that's the only interaction I ever had with Mark outside of, you know, years later, because I think I may have been 19 or 20 when that Hanson moment happened. And then again, this is, you know, I'm going through a divorce in my 30s, so but that's it. That's the only interaction we had.
Okay. And so turning back, has Mark Desiro ever like directly messaged you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And approximately when did that happen the first time?
I mean, there have been messages back and forth, but in terms of like anything where I remember the most was around October. Well, I guess it would have been March, maybe, or April of 2016.
Okay. And so I wanted, at some point, did Mark ever contact you via any means and inform you about audio files that he had in his possession?
Yes.
Okay. And about when did that happen?
I would say March of 2016.
Okay.
Or 2017. Sorry. It's hard to remember.
Okay. Is there anything that would refresh your recollection about the time
I think
period?
the police report, because the day I filed the police report with.
Okay. Do you remember writing a voluntary statement for the police?
Yes.
And Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
And for the record, I'm showing the witness her voluntary statement that's been shown to defense counsel. And Candace, I don't want you to read out loud anything on this sheet of paper. You can just look at it silently just to refresh your recollection as to when this would have started. And when your recollection's refreshed, just hand it back to me.
Okay.
Okay. All right, you remember now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'll repeat my last question. About when was it that Mark Desiro contacted you about some audio files in his possession?
March 2018.
And did he at some point provide you with copies of those audio files?
Yeah, I learned that he had been given a link to a Google Drive, and it wasn't just audio files that were in that Google Drive as well. There were other personal things. So like, for example, copies of my journal entries, like pictures of them. Maybe there was a card that I had written Michael for an anniversary. There were 5 audio files, which were recordings of telephone conversations. And then there was another recording between him and our son, Mason, who was about 4 at the time. And then there was another recording between him.
And I just want to cut you off there, because just right now, I just want to talk to you about the audio files, okay?
Okay.
So those audio files, so Mark DeCiro did provide you copies of those?
Yes.
What you just referred to, okay. And did you listen to those audio files?
I did.
Okay. And when you listened to those audio files, could you tell what they were?
Yes.
What were they?
They were conversations between myself and Michael.
Okay. And when you listened to them, could you tell approximately when those conversations happened?
Yes. All of those conversations happened in October of 2016, right around the time when Malia had her rectal prolapse and we were going to the doctor and all of that.
Okay. And so were they recordings of just regular conversations, or were they recordings of telephone calls between you and the defendant?
They were telephone calls between the two of us.
And Your Honor, may approach with State's Exhibit 1, it's already been admitted. And Candace, do you recall listening to a disc of audio files in my office last week?
I do.
And I'm handing you State's Exhibit 1. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay. And what is it?
It's the audio telephone conversations between Michael and I that I listened to in your office. I signed my name to it and I put the date 1/3/20.
Okay, so you wrote your name and the date on it?
I did.
Okay, after listening to the files?
Yes.
Okay. Does this disc contain audio files that fairly and accurately depict the recordings of the telephone conversations that you received from Mark DeCiro?
They do, yes.
And permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may.
I'll admit fully I say my kids, but he hasn't really seen them in 10 years, so I got that right.
And Candace, so I'm going to play this disc, and I'm going to play the 5 audio files that are here on State's Exhibit 1. Some of them are short, some of them are longer. And then after each one plays, I'll ask you some questions, okay? Court's brief indulgence, I just want to make sure the volume's set correct. Sure.
Absolutely, Miguel.
Yes, why are you calling? Listen, can you please just pay your portion of the it's going to be kicked out of daycare. So please just do that. Can you let me see the kids more? Like,
Okay. And for the record, that was file number 01 from State's Exhibit 1.
All right, and before you proceed, I apologize for interrupting you. I know that was a short clip. Could you all hear that okay? Asking the jury, yes? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Candace, did you recognize what the audio file I just played?
Yes.
Okay. And was that one of the telephone conversations that we've been talking about?
It was, yes.
Did you recognize? So it was a telephone
It
conversation?
was, yes.
Did you recognize the voices on it?
Yes,
Okay, whose voices were they?
mine and Michael's. And then in the background, you can hear our daughter. She's saying, Dada. Hi,
Okay,
Dada.
so there really is a third voice. But,
There it is, in that one, yes.
and was that your daughter Malia?
It was,
Okay.
yes.
How old would she have been at the time?
2.
And do you remember where you were at the time of this phone call?
Yes, we were leaving the daycare. I was calling Michael because the daycare had informed me that he had not paid his portion of the daycare. And I just had a conversation with the director and I'm just like, I don't, at that time I was like, I can't pay this. And she basically said, well, if you can't, she's gonna have to be taken out by the end of the week. So I had made a phone call to him to ask him to pay. We were leaving the daycare. I had already put Malia in the car and just was asking him to please pay his portion of daycare.
And correct me if I'm wrong, so I think at some point in the audio file, you say Malia is going to be kicked out of daycare.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And was it your expectation that the defendant would be paying a portion of the daycare cost?
Yes. It had been ordered by our family court judge.
Okay, Candace, now I'm going to play audio file 2 on Exhibit 1.
Hi, baby.
Why did you cancel the appointment, Candace?
Michael, you didn't tell me that you were making an appointment for her. And what is the point of going in there?
I want to make
No, I did not know. Okay, that's fine. Who is she going to see today?
I got referred over somewhere, so.
Okay, whatever. Next time you need to tell me because I'm not kidding you, Michael.
She had a prolapse.
I know, I'm aware, Michael. Did you give her gluten this weekend?
No, I didn't, not at all. And she
Okay, well, you need to make sure that she's hydrated and that she's had plenty to eat. Okay, and I'm going to tell you now that she's got something going on and we have to get to the bottom of it, but it's not what you've been accusing
Candace,
Joe of. So you need to stop.
This is very weird what Joe is doing.
Michael,
You sure, Candace?
it has nothing to do with Joe. The CPS worker has told you that.
He
The
hasn't
person that you
told me
told us.
that. It's not the
Yes,
same
they
guy.
have told you that, and they're closing the case because you're a lunatic. Like, you have to stop.
Candace,
Malia has a issue with her diet that we need to get to the bottom of. I'm having her allergies tested,
Candace,
okay?
who's watching the kids? Do you see that?
What do you mean, who's watching the kids? They go to daycare and they go to school. Nobody babysits, Michael. Nobody babysits.
You got Joe
I don't leave them,
alone?
Michael.
What, Joe's dropping the kids off? Like he's sleeping?
Michael, Joe is not a pedophile, okay? Joe is not sitting in my house, but even if you were, it's not your business.
He's not at your house. Wait a minute, Candace.
No, he's not at my house, and it's not your business.
It's my
He's not a
business.
pedophile. He has not hurt the kids. No, he has not.
Candace,
Okay? You need to stop it.
okay?
Okay, well then go to the doctor and find the answers that you need. I have all the paperwork stacked up that she's got a constipation problem and that's what's causing her prolapse. You have to make sure that she has water and juice at all times. She has to have soft bowel movement.
You don't think that could happen at all? Like, come on, it's scary.
Michael, it has. The first time she had prolapse, I wasn't even dating Joe, and I told you that already.
But you're letting your brother watch her, you're letting,
Michael, my brothers are not even in town.
why,
They're away at college.
why don't you let me watch them, Candace, instead of the babysitter?
Because you're incompetent and you're not a good father.
Wow.
And you're not a safe or sane person to accuse somebody of doing something that graphic and disgusting makes me concerned.
How could you say that,
Okay.
Candace? I'm their father.
Because
You're letting-
you're a psychopath. Who would ever suggest that? I'm telling you, all the paperwork has told you that she has a personality. She's constantly disgusting too.
Yeah, Candace, like,
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, but next time she has a doctor's appointment, you need to tell me. Because I'm concerned that she's not at school.
yeah.
Like, you need to tell me that next time if she has an appointment. That's where I'm I just don't want to sit there and tell me that she has an appointment.
Okay, listen though, Candace, like, I just want to make sure they're safe. Like, I should be watching them. I'm their
Then go
father.
talk to the doctor because clearly you don't believe anything the CPS workers are saying. You don't believe anything the police are saying. You don't believe anything that our friends are saying. You don't believe anything. So it doesn't matter what No, I'm not gonna let you watch the kids. You're not a safe person. You're not a safe or sane person, unfortunately. I wish that would be the case. I wish I could trust you, but it's
And Candace, since this was a somewhat longer call, I'm going to ask you more questions about this one.
Sure.
First, whose voices are we hearing on that call?
Mine and Michael's. At the beginning of that, I was saying hi baby to Malia because she was in the background.
Okay. Okay, that's what
She wasn't with me. It was his weekend. He had her. She was saying hi in the background. And so that's why I was saying hi baby, you know, because she was saying hi mommy in the background.
Okay. So that's why you said hi baby at the beginning. You were talking to Malia.
Yes.
And did I hear you correctly? You're saying that that the defendant actually had Malia with him at the time.
Yes.
And during the course of the call, I heard you say the word appointment. What appointment were you talking about, and why was that an issue?
So Michael had made a doctor's appointment at their pediatrician's office for that particular Friday. The pediatrician's office had called me the night before to confirm, but I didn't know about any appointment. So I was like, oh, I didn't schedule an appointment. And they were like, okay, we'll go ahead and cancel it. And I'm like, okay. And I thought, well, maybe I was gonna do shots or something, I don't know. But at that particular day, I couldn't take them in for shots or whatever. So I was like, oh, maybe I just need that appointment. So I canceled it. And then that Friday, the daycare called because Malia is supposed to be at daycare, and they have a policy about, you know, like us letting them know if our child's gonna be absent. They would do like credits and things like that, if, you know, we have a certain amount of sick time or whatever. So I got a call from the daycare and they were like, Malia's not here. And I'm like, what? Because I just thought it was like a regular day, you know, I thought she's gonna be at daycare. And so he had taken her out of daycare to try to take her to that appointment. And then obviously because that appointment had been canceled by me, which I just didn't know that there was an appointment, that was the nature of the conversation. So I had called on my lunch break because I'm like, well, first I wanted to know where she was and like what was going on. And second, you know, I mean, it's his right, you know, he's their dad. If he wanted to take them to the doctor, that's fine. If he needed a second opinion, I had seen all the specialists, I felt like I had all the answers I needed, but in terms of like, you know, how he felt as a parent, he felt like he needed to take her, that was fine. He needed to just hear it from the doctor, that's okay, you know. So, I don't know, I mean, I just called him because I'm like, well, where is she, like, what's going on, like, why is she out of school right now, and like, what were you doing? And I think he was frustrated because I think he thought that I had canceled that appointment on purpose, but again, I didn't know. And because my phone number was the number on file to call for a confirmation, and I'm thinking like, did I schedule an appointment? I canceled it. So it was never any, you know, big deal if he wanted to take her. I just needed to know to tell the daycare, she's not gonna be at school, and here's why. For, you know, credit purposes.
And let me ask you this, so when you talked to Michael about the issue with the appointment, did he tell you that he took Malia to the doctor and he found out the appointment was canceled?
He did, yeah.
Okay. And would that doctor have been here in Clark County, Nevada?
Yes.
And, okay, and I also heard some references to you dating Joe. Is that the Joe Ruiz you refer to as your husband now?
Yes.
Okay. At the time you were dating, or he was your boyfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the defendant talking about that he thought was going on with Joe?
He had expressed to me that he thought that Malia's rectal prolapse was caused by penetration. And I was shocked by that because I'm like, what? First of all, like, I took her to the ER, I took her to the pediatrician, I took her to all these allergists, I took her to a surgeon, like, no one ever mentioned anything like that. And so obviously I'm thinking like, okay, it's her diet, gotta adjust her diet, like, not to mention like, the prolapse is horrifying to look at. And it was happening frequently, and so we had to address those issues and make sure that that's what was happening. And so Michael had gone off. I'm like trying to, okay, so first he accuses my boyfriend at the time of molesting Malia, and then he accuses my brothers. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is not what's happening here. He, made a report and felt like that was what was happening. That was investigated and that case was closed because that's not what was happening.
Okay, let me ask you a couple questions about the things you just said.
Sure.
And I know this is difficult because we're talking about your daughter who was 2 at the time. When you say that the defendant was claiming, the defendant was claiming that Malia's rectal prolapse could have been caused by penetration. And by penetration, was he saying sexual penetration?
Yes.
Okay. And was he stating that sexual penetration could have been caused either by your boyfriend or your brothers?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned, I think you mentioned just now the case being closed. Are you talking about some sort of CPS case?
Yes.
Okay. And when you say it was closed, like what do you mean exactly?
Well, I mean, anytime there is an allegation of sexual abuse, CPS has to investigate. So CPS came to my home and they did a well check. They went to both the daycare and our son's school. They met with Joe. They looked at every single medical record. They spoke with the pediatrician. So they went, down the list to make sure that that's not what was happening. And then at that point, the CPS woman was like, this is not happening, and we're aware. So she closed the case under, it's called unsubstantiated, and she closed that case. But then there was a second report made to the police after, by Michael, stating that he believed that this was happening. So police came to my house and they did yet another well check. And I explained to the officers then that CPS had investigated, that I had just been told by the woman that the case was unsubstantiated, that it was going to be closed, that I would receive a letter in the mail stating that. And he looked into the records while he was in my home, and he was like, I mean, he, obviously like talked to my kids, and then he was like, can I see if there's food in the, fridge? And so I let him look around. He looked in their bedrooms. He asked me if my boyfriend was there, and I'm like, no, he does not live here. And I even gave him the contact information for Joe. I'm like, Joe's already talked to CPS. Here's his phone number if you need to call him. And he said that he didn't feel that that was necessary to call Joe because he had seen that it was unsubstantiated. And then the police also closed that case as well.
And so the rectal prolapse that Malia had, did that first start happening before or after you started dating Joe?
So I didn't start dating Joe until after she had had her rectal prolapse. And, just to be clear, Joe is never alone with my kids. It's not appropriate. They were 2 and 5, and I would never leave them with him. I mean, we were friends before, but that doesn't mean that I would ever leave him. And that's what I was trying to explain to Michael, this is not happening. I am extremely protective of the kids and their well-being, and I meant what I said in that phone call, that nobody was watching our kids. I was a single mom. I was trying to just survive the divorce. And then we've got this child with a very serious medical condition. And I mean, if I'm being honest, it was disgusting to look at. And it was very hard for me because if it ever did get pushed out, we would have to put gloves on and put lubricant on that glove and manually push it back in. And it wasn't comfortable for her, and it wasn't comfortable for me. And it was just an awful process. So, for him to suggest that, and I'm like, okay, well, are you working with me with her diet? If you're feeding her gluten And I'm not, and this is still happening, like, this is probably what's happening here. But for him to have suggested that that was happening made me feel really concerned and also like confused. Like, why would you ever say that if, you know, the doctors have all said this, CPS has said this, the police have said this, like why, you know, again, like you need to hear it from the doctor, go see for yourself, talk to them, you know, ask them the questions that you need to ask them that will give you that peace of mind to know that this is not happening to our daughter.
So a couple of follow-up questions on that. So clearly at the time of this phone call, and which you already testified would have been in October 2016.
Yes.
So around that time, clearly Mike, the defendant had visitation rights with Malia because he had her in his custody.
Correct.
At the time of this call. What exactly was the custody arrangement at the time of this phone call?
So, okay, at the time of this arrangement, Michael had 2 weekends a month. He had the second and fourth weekends of the month. That did not go into effect until October because up until that point, there was a different custody arrangement. So, and he didn't have custody. He had no custody. He wasn't seeing the kids at all. And so I know for sure that they took place in October because those first weekends that he had him would have been the second weekend of October and the last weekend of October, which would have been Halloween, which I discussed in the phone call with him. And then after that, which was to be his next weekend, was the last time that he saw them. And he did not see them that weekend in November. So all of these had to take place in October because then after that last visit, in the last weekend of October, he did not have custody from then on out.
And the custody arrangement that you're, and the visitation arrangement that you're describing that went into effect at the end of October, was that the arrangement that was stated in your divorce decree?
Yes, second and fourth weekend of the month. And it would have been, his first weekend would have been that second weekend in October. So, and that's how I know because there was no custody before that, there was no custody after that time. So the only time for me to have known and for him to have the ability to take her to the doctor would have been October.
Okay. And so pursuant to that custody arrangement that you've described, would the defendant have been allowed to take Malia or Mason outside of Nevada?
No, not without written permission. And in the decree of divorce, it stated that we had to provide an itinerary, there had to be 30 days notice, both of us had to agree on that, and we had to have addresses and locations to where the kids would be, and I didn't receive any of those at all, ever. So.
You never received any notification that the defendant was taking either of your children outside the state?
No.
Court's brief indulgence. And I think we will move on and play audio file number 3 from State Exhibit 1.
I've done it already. I promise you, I won't be there any food at all. Okay, are you gonna take child support like you're supposed to? Are you gonna return my journals and my fucking grandmother's stamp? Basic shit, Michael. Basic shit you can't even do. I can't, okay? Then fucking do it! Sign the decree. I want to be bored.
Can you let me see my kids, Candace? Like, please, let's do custody.
Are you listening to me? You show me in good faith that you're going to pay me the correct amount of child support, that you're going to have clothes that fit the kids, that you are not going to feed our daughter gluten, that you fucking stop harassing every person in my life. Then maybe I would be more willing to let you see this.
Would you ever give me joint custody, Candace?
No.
Like, no?
Fuck that. Not until you do what you're supposed to do.
What, if we're giving you $1,200 a month, Candace? I can't.
Yeah. Okay, well then, I'm just going to go to the DA. Because you don't have a fucking choice. you do it, or I make
Hello,
you do
I'm
it.
Viking Lloyd. Welcome.
Please just let me see my kids more. Please, I'll be willing to.
You're not listening to me. You're acting like a child.
Candace, I just want to see the kids. I didn't get to see them for
You're not
75
listening
days.
to me. I'm going to tell you right now, you will not see them more than 2 weekends a month until you do what you're supposed to do.
Okay,
Period.
then what? When I start doing that, what? Can I see them more? Will you work with me on stuff, Candace? What, can I bring
Oh, I
them?
was more than 100% willing to work on you. But I'm telling you right now, Michael, all of that stuff has to be in place.
So you can date fucking Joe Ruiz, Candace? Like, can you promise me that Joe Ruiz won't be around my kids alone, Candace? Mason told me a bunch of... Mason said he was. He's taking them to the park alone. He went in the room with Malia and shut the door, Candace. That's not true. He's folding laundry.
None of that is true.
He's spending the night there.
The
Like
one time that Joe and him played Pokemon Go, I was there.
he said, you weren't there, Candace.
Michael, he's 5 years old.
Candace,
He's concerned because you're pumping him for information.
Joe Ruiz, Candace, really? Like, you used to tell me how crappy this dude was. Please don't do that, okay?
Okay, well, Michael, I love him, and we are moving forward in our
You
relationship.
love him? Like, really? What happened with Nicole? Like,
Nicole is crazy. I told you that.
Candace, I love you, okay? Like, I wish I could love you better. Like, I fucked up, okay? But I wish I had another chance, all right? Like, I don't
Well,
want...
that shit has failed. You had lots and lots and lots and lots of chances.
Joe Ruiz,
Too many chances.
is he moving his cousin in with you and all this shit? Like, please, Candace.
No, he's not moving in with me. Like, give me a free break.
Candace, please don't date that guy, all right? Like, I swear I'm different.
It's too late. It's done.
No, please, okay?
You're not different. You're still not even doing the basic things, which shows me that you haven't changed at all. You can't even do basic things.
I've been really
You
hurt.
cannot even not see our daughter pooping. You can't even just return my journal. That's all I want. I just want my stuff back. I want to be done. I want you to sign with the tree.
Okay, you want to be done. I know you just want to be done, Candace, but is that truly what you want? Like,
Yes, it's 100% what I want, and I don't really understand why you don't get that.
because
I don't want to be married to you anymore. How more clear can I make that? Like, I'm done.
don't date
Like,
Joe
I'm
Ruiz,
done.
Candace. Like, holy shit. Like,
It's too late. I'm already with Joe.
why? Why, Candace? Like, that guy, like...
Because he's a good man, and
He's a good man. Like,
great for me, and he's a great person.
Candace, how could you say that when you say all this shit about him before? Like, really? Like, it scares the shit out of me as around my kids.
It's crazy.
Candace, he's crazy too. Like, he's worked at a comic book store. Like, come on.
Okay, he doesn't work at a comic book store. He works for Bank of America. Do you know anything about him? You don't know anything about him, Marketplace.
Please, Candace, like, don't date that guy, all right? Like,
It's not your business who I date.
can
We are not married anymore.
Candace, I just want to be my kids, but, like, and I want you to be okay, all right?
Then I'm good. I'm great. I'm the best that I've ever been. I'm the happiest I've ever been.
How could you not let me
From
see?
you.
How could you not let me see the kids for 75
Michael,
days
how could
too?
you not? How could you not follow the rules? How could you be such a freaking stalker? Like, oh, I don't know.
I'm not a stalker, Candace.
Yes, you
I've
are.
been leaving you alone. I haven't been able to talk to you in a year, you know, or
Okay.
months. You know.
Listen, I'm not willing to negotiate with you right
Okay,
now.
I won't be
If
the
you
kid.
want to see the kids more, then you need to do your part, and that's it. Like, that's my limit.
Okay.
You don't do what you're supposed to do. You don't do what the judge ordered, which is pay me the correct amount of child support, return my property, finish the house shit. You don't do any
Okay,
of that.
I have the
more than 2 weekends a month.
Candace, I
period.
have the house stuff ready. I need you to sign it, okay? Can you sign it for me?
I'm not going to do anything without my attorney present, and from what I understand, your attorneys aren't working with you anymore.
I don't know what they're doing. Listen though, I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for. I have to. Candace, I have to go appeal all these orders and stuff. It's going to take years,
Well,
okay?
then have fun with that then.
No, I just want to
do what you're supposed to do.
Me and you
Do what
could
you're
just,
supposed to do.
me and you could just work this out between us.
You're on drugs. I will never go back to you ever as long as I live.
No,
You are
okay.
a psychopath.
All right, that's fine. If you really don't want to ever be with me again, that's okay.
I don't ever want to be with
I
you.
wish-
Hear me clearly. I don't ever want to be with
I know, and it hurts the hell out of me because I still have feelings for you, okay? And I'm sorry.
Stop it. Oh, stop it.
I do, Candace. Like,
Okay, listen, you are
No, I swear I haven't dated anybody Candace, after that girl.
You really think that I would take you back when you can't even do basic things for our kids or for what the judge ordered? You really want to show me you changed? Start doing your part. That's how I will know that you've changed, is when you stop being a psychopath and you leave my family alone and you leave my friends alone and you do what the judge ordered.
Okay.
Simple shit, Michael.
But would you ever come back, Candace?
No, I'm never coming back to you.
No,
I'm
ever.
never coming back to you.
There's no possibility. Like,
Over.
I would. Please, Candace.
There's no possibility.
Yes, there is.
No.
I've been seeing Frank. I've been like praying so
I don't
much.
care. Michael, you have not changed. You're exactly the same way. You're not following the rules. You're not following what the judge told you to do. You're still fighting. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Like,
I don't want to fight
anymore.
anymore. Okay, I really don't want
Then
to
do
fight.
what you need to do. Michael, I would be so more willing to work with you if I felt like the kids were safe.
They are
They
safe.
had clothes that fit them, that Malia wasn't being fed gluten, that you took her allergies seriously. You made her very sick. You understand that?
Candace, are you sure it wasn't Joe, Candace? I'm so
Oh my
scared.
God, I wasn't even seeing Joe when the first prolapse happened, which is exactly what I told the police when they came over on Sunday.
You weren't seeing him at all. Like, what this just happened? Like, what, a month?
Yes,
Like,
this just happened in the last month.
how did you even get involved with him, Candace? Like,
It's
please.
not your business.
Like-
It's not your business. What's happening between Joe and I is not your business.
Joe
It's not
Ruiz,
your business.
Candace, like, please. I can't fathom it. Like,
I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It happened, and that's it. That's all I have to tell you.
please don't go with that guy, Candace. I'll do whatever it takes. Remember when you said I want you back? Like, fuck today. Like, I want my family back,
What are you
Candace.
talking about? You're such a fucking liar.
No, I'm not.
So many times have you said that shit, and then you made
I've had lots of.
completely against what you said. Like,
Candace,
you're a liar.
no.
You're a psycho.
No, I just
You're a
need
liar.
I need some kind of commitment from you, Candace. Like,
No, there's no commitment. You don't have any part of me anymore. You know nothing about my life. You will never have me back.
I just, please, I want to be in my kid's life as much as possible,
Okay.
Candace.
Well, then do what you need to do.
But where's
Do what you
Mo?
need to do.
Are you at school right now, or are you with Mason and
It's
Malia?
not your business. It's not your business.
Well, where's the
It's
kids
not your
at? Just tell me where the kids are at then.
They're at school.
You took
That's
today.
where the kids are at.
Did you take today off or something?
It's not your fucking business. My life is not your business.
Yeah, Candace, listen to me, okay?
My life is not your business. My life is not your business.
Okay, I know. All right, just please. All right, I want to see my kids. I want to do what's right. I don't want to fight
Then do
anymore.
what you need to do. Then you need to do it. You need to stop fighting the case. You need to start doing what the judge ordered you to do, and I'll be more willing to work with you each time.
Okay,
And if you can't do those things,
what does that
then
look
you
like,
only see
Candace?
them 2 weekends a month.
Yeah, that it
I
sucks
would,
so
I
bad.
would let you take them during the week. I would let you have more time with them. I would be more willing to work with you if you showed me that you know how to care for young kids.
I do, Candace. I took care of my kids.
Okay,
Candace.
so when I tell you that her doctor told me that she's severely allergic to gluten,
I will not feed her gluten. I'll make sure, okay?
gave her gluten, Michael. Is that showing me that you know how to care for our child that has special dietary needs?
Okay, I swear I won't give her
Ethan
any
is
gluten.
allergic to oranges, and you gave him orange juice, and he came home with the rash. You
Really?
don't fucking care.
Yeah,
If you could show me that you could buy clothes that fit our kids and
have-
not send them to school. No, you haven't done shit for her.
I have so
don't.
many clothes.
You haven't
Candace.
taken them to one fucking doctor appointment.
Yeah, I have.
No, you haven't.
And
You
Jen,
are delusional.
you called the
You
cops.
are
You
delusional.
called the cops on me for the stupid dog bite. I'm sorry that happened.
You know what? I would have done it again because you told me you were not going to get medical care.
No, I did, Candace. I took care of it.
You after they forced you to.
No, I did before
And I
that.
just want to let you know that I will continue to do that. So every single time you have a doubt about taking them to the doctor and you don't do it, I will call you. Yeah.
Don't do that, Candace. Okay, like listen.
Then do what you need to do.
I will. Just work with me, Candace. I'm your dad. You know how much I love
I'm
you.
not going to work with you until you start doing what the judge ordered. So when you're ready to make an adult decision and follow what the judge told you to do, then I will be willing to work with you.
Candace, you know this judge.
You will not get one extra day. You will not get any extra time until you tell me that pair of shoes and socks that fit them. Michael, you sent Malia home with a pair of baby infant socks that I bought when she was 3 months old. That is not clothing that fits her.
Okay,
You need to be a responsible person.
I am, Candace. Like,
You are not. When you can show me, you don't even know what fucking size they wear. You put shorts on Malia that were 12 months. I don't care if she peed before she left the house. You do not have clothes or socks or underwear that fit them. You fed Malia gluten after I told you that she had severe allergies, and due to that, she had a small prolapse again. She has no issues at all since she's been gluten-free. None.
okay, Candace.
I doubt the child was deathly allergic to oranges. She got a rash from the oranges.
Except for when she came back from your house.
I'll make sure that they're not fed gluten, okay? Like, I just want to see my kids more. I'll pay you whatever.
Then do what you need to do. Pay child support, Michael. Pay for medical.
Okay, I haven't seen one medical thing, Candace, at all. Like, how am I supposed to know how much to pay for that?
I've submitted all of that. It's all been submitted to the court. And I'm telling you right now, I am going to go file with the DA. If you don't pay me today, I'm going down to file with the district attorney.
Can you wait till Friday, Candace? I don't get paid till Friday. Please, I don't
I
have...
will wait till Friday. I will wait till Friday. If I do not have 875 plus 220, I'm filing with the DA Monday morning.
Wait, how much?
875 plus 220.
Plus 220. Where's the 220 from?
Michael, you know what it's for.
The
It's
medical?
for the medical, and you know
Can you send me a bill for that? And can you downgrade that? Like,
I'm not sending you anything. No. I've already showed you a screenshot of my pay stub, and that's all you get. And because it doesn't matter anyway, because the minute that I file from the DA, they're going to pull it from your check anyway. Plus all the back child support that you owe. So make a choice. Make a choice.
Candace,
I'm not going to play games with you anymore. Like, grow up, 2 years old, pay your fucking bill. Like, do what you have to do.
I will. I want to see my kids, though, Candace.
When are you going to return my lamp?
Mueller needs to sit down.
When are you going to return my journal?
You can have all the little freaking lamps back. Can I have my mirror back and the shark moth, please? Like,
No, I'm not giving you that back.
no.
You kept everything else in the house. I'm not giving you that shit back. So,
And you took everything you wanted, right?
Michael,
What? You did. Candace,
you are going to pay everything that she ordered you to pay. You're going to pay half of my credit card debt. You're going to pay for
Can I see what the credit card debt was?
No.
Like, how'd you rack up 12 grand?
You don't get any of that. You are going to pay me, or I'm going to file with the DA. So make a choice.
You know that's against the law, right? Like, what she...
Make a choice. Make a choice,
Okay,
Michael.
all right, I will.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly why.
Okay, what can I do to see my kids more? I'll pay you the money. Okay, I'll pay you the money. Can I see the kids more? Can I please see them during the
Not
week?
till it's done. Not till it's done.
Okay.
Not till it's all done.
Okay,
Not till
so
it's all done.
listen, I'll pay you that amount, and then I'll see the kids this weekend. Can I see them during the week, like on
No.
Wednesday or something?
No. You're not seeing them this weekend. This is not your weekend.
Yeah, this is
Second
my
and fourth
weekend.
weekend of the month. No, it's not. Second and fourth weekend of the month. This
No,
is the first weekend of the month.
No, this is
It's
my
defined
weekend.
by Friday. It's defined by the first Friday of the month.
It's
The
every...
first Friday of the month is the first weekend of the month. Therefore, this is the first weekend of the month.
No, Candace, it's every other weekend, Candace. I get them this weekend.
No, it's not every other weekend. It's the second and fourth weekends of the month. So look at the decree. You will not take them this Friday. If you do, school police will arrest you. So go ahead.
It's every other weekend. What are you talking about? This
It's
is
not
my weekend.
every other weekend. It's the second and fourth weekends of the month. Go look it up.
What? Are
You
you
get them
fucking
2 weekends a month. You get them 2 weekends a month, and that's it.
Candace, this is my weekend with them. What do you mean?
No, it's not. Go look at the decree. Second and fourth weekend of the month, defined by the first Friday. The first Friday is considered the first weekend. The second Friday is the second Friday of the month. You will have them next weekend, and you will have them on Halloween.
No, my birthday. What do you... We're getting them next weekend, and then I'm...
Okay, so look at the decree. I'm not arguing with you. If you show up on Friday to pick up the kids, school police will arrest you. They already have permission from the court. So make sure that you know what you're doing.
Really?
They will arrest you, and you will go to jail. So make a choice. Like, I'm not playing with you anymore, Michael. Like, these exceeded my limit. I have been pushed past my limit.
Is Joe pushing you to do this shit too? Because he's been
Oh my God.
like,
No. This is what's called healing. This is what's called boundaries. This is what's called getting out of an abusive relationship.
look what you're doing to our kids.
You have no control over me. Our kids are
It
happy.
sure
Our
is.
kids are fine.
Candace, you won't even let me say goodnight to him. Can I say at least say goodnight? Like,
Okay, well, when you start doing what you need to do,
Mason wanted to say goodnight to you. I'm like, okay, go ahead, Mason. Call him. Like,
okay, just let me know. Let me know when you're ready to start doing what you need to do.
will you let Mason
And you
say
can follow
goodnight?
directions, and you cannot say psychotic things to kids. And maybe I'd
I'm
be more
not
willing.
saying anything to the kids, Candace. I'm just asking, hey, how are you doing? They're telling me that.
Okay, you know what? Listen, I'm not going to argue with you anymore.
I'm not.
Do what you need to do.
I will,
I'm
Candace.
filing with the district attorney on Monday. If you go and pick up the kids on Friday, you're going to be arrested. So make sure you know what the decree says. Because the school has copies, school police know what's going on. Everyone is watching you, okay?
Candace.
Everyone's watching you.
Listen, though, is
Everyone's watching you.
there any way, Candace, like, there's no, you really want to
No.
date Joe Ruiz, like, really?
Yeah, I'm probably going to marry him too. So.
Holy fucking shit, you're gonna marry that motherfucker? Come on, Candace. Don't do that, please. Like, really? That guy? Candace, please, like, he is the worst guy for you. Like, why would you do
No,
that?
he's not.
What? Unless he's, like, changed, like, you don't remember all this shit?
Yes. He's
What?
amazing.
Oh,
He's
my.
nothing like you.
He's 15 years older than you, too, Candace. Like,
He's not. He's 8. And that's not your business.
please, Candace, don't do that, okay? Like, let me back in,
Who
okay?
I date is not your concern.
Let me back in, okay?
No.
Okay, please.
You're never getting back into my life. If you want to see the kids more, then you need to do what you need to do. We need to finish the stuff with the house. You need to return my property. You need to start paying child support. You need to buy clothes that fit the kids. You need to change Malia's diet.
Okay, I can
When I
do all...
start seeing those things, I will know. I will know when all of those things have changed. I will notice.
And then you let
I
me
will
see
see what
the...
they're wearing.
you
I
let me
will see what their mental state is. You are not to talk to our children about anything regarding our divorce or about who I'm dating. You are not to question Nathan. You are not to make him feel uncomfortable.
You've been making him uncomfortable with Joe.
You have changed.
Dennis, you've been confusing him. He's been spending the night at your house and stuff.
Wait,
Like,
well, he doesn't stay the night at the house. He's never been alone with the kids. All of this shit you are making up.
that's what he told
The
me.
only time that Joe comes over is when kids are in bed. Joe has come to
When the kids are
church
in
with
bed,
us.
and you sneak in
And
there,
the
and
kids don't even know him as my boyfriend. They know him as my friend. Because it is not acceptable for them to get attached to him yet, till I'm sure where this relationship is going.
Candace,
So I
really?
can assure you that the decisions that I'm making are healthy and they are safe for the kids.
Listen, Candace, I'll
Do not
forgive...
talk to Mason about Joe.
Listen, forgive me, Candace.
If
I'll
anyone
forgive
is
you.
fucking confusing him, it's you.
Candace, he's spending the night there. Mason knows, okay?
He
Like,
is not spending the night. He has not spent the night one time with me. We are living a godly way, okay?
yeah, he's fucking you too. Yeah, Candace, listen to me.
Okay.
Please, just
Okay.
listen to me.
Because you know about my life.
No, Candace, listen, I'll forgive you for everything.
You're right.
Forgive
No,
me
you
for
don't
everything.
know. You don't know anything about my life anymore.
Just forgive me, Candace.
And you don't get to know anything about my life.
True, Kelly.
Are you going to do it? You haven't changed. You haven't done one thing. You haven't done one thing for our kids or for what you're supposed to do. You haven't done one thing.
It's been really
Not
hard,
one.
Candace, okay? Like,
I don't care. I don't feel bad for you. You're an adult. Deal with it. Get some therapy. Get some help.
for kids for 75 days. And
Only if she
I
forgives
feel
him.
bad that you are their father, and that I made the choice to marry you, and that unfortunately they're going to have to deal with your crazy ass for the rest of their life. That's what I feel bad about.
I'm not that guy, all right? You know that.
You have not made my life, you made my life a living hell since we've been apart. But guess what? You don't have power over me anymore. You have no control over me.
All right.
I don't feel guilted by you. I don't feel bad about my decision.
With Joe, too?
I'm being away from you.
You feel happy with Joe? Really, Candace? Come on.
I'm 100% satisfied with Joe.
Satisfied. Please, Candace, like, just come back, okay? Let's just stop all this. Like, we can do that, all right? No, I swear it will be different, okay? I promise you, I'll treat you like a queen,
You
okay?
are so delusional.
Candace.
You are so delusional.
No, I will treat you like my queen, Candace. I will never ever do anything. Ken, please.
I'm sorry, it's comical.
No, it's not comical. This is my, Ken, this might have been on my heart, okay? Like, I've just been...
Okay.
No, I fucked up so bad. I gave up. I started giving up, and I shouldn't have. I love you.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. Ken, don't laugh at me, okay? Like,
It's funny.
no, it's not funny. I love my kids. I love you. Like,
I know that you love them, but you do not know what to take care of them.
I know how to take care of my own kids. Candace,
Okay, well then, why don't you show me that?
and I wish I would have known how to take care of you better, okay? And I fucked it up. I fucked it up, okay?
Okay.
Love-
Yes, we know, that's your fault, yes.
Okay, is there any way, like, please, there's got to be some way, Candace. There's got to be some way that we can be a family
No.
again. Like,
I'm telling you now, no.
no
There's
way.
No hope.
No hope.
There's no hope.
Yes, there
No,
is.
you need to go on with your life.
Candace, God hates divorce, okay? He doesn't want this.
Oh my God.
I
Okay,
would-
well, maybe
I would
you'll have
treat
a
you
chance
so
with
good.
someone else, but you won't have any more chances with me.
Candace, you're the mother of my children. Like, please, I haven't done anything.
Please, I'm seriously allergic to bullshit. Like, just stop.
No, I'm not bullshitting you,
Listen,
Candace.
your ways
I'm not bullshitting you.
and you text me don't work anymore.
Candace, I'm not bullshitting you. I will do whatever it fucking takes. Like, I swear to you.
Okay, do what it takes then. Start doing what it takes.
Okay, please just let me see the kids more at least as a start, okay?
Okay, when you start doing what it takes, when you've paid me everything you need to pay me, and the house shit is done,
Yeah, because
and everything is done.
I don't want to go through freaking
No,
appeals and everything else. Like, this is gonna
Okay,
take
well, I
forever.
don't know what to tell you. Like, you don't have any choice. Like, on the 91st day, the house was mine to sell. So,
What?
I don't know what else to tell you. On the 91st day, the house was mine to
Yeah,
sell.
you need to sign these papers, Candace, so we can give you
Okay, well then go talk to my attorney, because I'm not doing anything without my attorney. I'm not saying shit without my attorney.
Okay, that's fine.
So you let me know when you want to do that. You let me know when you're going to return my stuff, drop it off to my attorney. Okay? You let me know when you're ready to start paying child support, because I'm going to tell you now, I will go after you, and they will put you in jail if you don't pay. And appeals take a long time. And you didn't even file it properly anyway, so it's going to be kicked back. So it doesn't matter. Like, it's filed improperly. You can't even appeal anything until the decree of divorce is finished, but you wouldn't know that because you haven't talked to your attorney. Because they're done with you. Just like everyone.
Just wanted to see how much time is left.
We are almost done, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure the jury's okay if we go a little over 5 to finish this call. Everyone's shaking their head yes, someone's saying no, so let's go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's done with you. Yeah, I've been done. I don't really know, like, moving out, getting a new house, moving into a new relationship. I don't know what part.
He's not Michael.
That I'm not done. But guess what? I'm not afraid of you anymore. I'm not intimidated by you anymore. Oh, yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. But we don't need to go into that because
Almost done there. Okay, thank you very much. All right, it is just after 5 o'clock. We are going to break for the evening. So I do need you to come back tomorrow. But the parties could approach briefly. Just want to talk schedule and let you go.
While the parties are talking, Nan, I am so sorry. Guys, me and Nan were supposed to make peanut butter cookies yesterday and eat them during the stream.
We're going to start tomorrow.
And we did. But I forgot. I ate half of one at the very beginning of the stream, and then I completely forgot about our peanut butter cookies, Nan. We put all that work into them. And we were supposed to eat them together during the stream. But I was so nervous that I completely forgot. I had the cookies and I completely forgot, Nan. I'm sorry.
At 10:30, and I'll let the jury know this is lowered. We're going to restart tomorrow at 10:30 in the morning. I was supposed to have another calendar covering, but one of my colleagues stepped in, so we can start at 10:30 instead of the afternoon, which is good news. Let's see here. During this overnight recess, you are not to converse amongst yourselves with anyone else.
Shut up, Brad.
Or read, watch, or listen to any report of or commentary on the trial. Any person connected with the trial or any information, including that limitation, newspapers, television, video, internet, or form or express any opinion or any such connected with this trial until the case is finally submitted to you. Thank you very much for your attention this afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow at 10:30.
All rise for the jury.
All right, the record reflects that the jury has left the courtroom. Ms. Ruiz, you are still under oath and currently what we call a live witness. So I'm going to ask that you don't discuss what's happening in the court or what your testimony was here today, and then we'll resume the testimony tomorrow at 10:30. I'm sorry, I'm standing, I just be distracted by legs. And so you're free to leave for the evening. You might want to just pause in the area there with the jury, catch the first set of elevators, and then you can go just to make it a little easier. Okay? All right. Let the record reflect that the witness has left the courtroom. She is in the vestibule in between the courtroom and the exit doors. Anything we need to address outside the presence of the jury and or the witness?
No, nothing to speak on.
All right, then I will simply want it, the calendar is in 2 hours tomorrow. Of course, I say that, and then something happens, let's hope it goes smoothly. If you all could be here at 10:15, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
And, Mr. Euler, I do have I think we still have the instructions from the last trial, so perhaps take a look at those and see if anything are going to change. I'm not sure.
My short-term memory is falling.
So it's fine, I don't remember, actually, I can't remember either, but there's been several trials between that one and this one, so I'm much like you. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good evening, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You can give me about 2 minutes, guys. Okay, all right. Okay, so
Yeah.
That's love. Brick in the wall. That's love.
We'll go back to the record in C-18-333-684-1, speaking about a Richard McDonald, McDonald, the defendant is in the back. Will be brought out shortly. Anything
I'm just inquiring, make sure you got my proposal.
I did, thank you. I saw that they reported to me, you were on the original email, Ms. Mishler. I want to make sure that
Yes, Your
you
Honor.
already brought them.
I received a report.
The jury's all present, Your Honor.
Thank you.
For the record, I don't say these things to hear myself talk.
Reality of mortgages and children and babies.
All right, let's go with the defendant has been brought out. Good morning, Mr. McDonald.
Good morning,
Let's go ahead and bring in the, great. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, hold on one second.
You can pull one of those chairs.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, we're ready. And our witness is out.
Yes.
Hi, Walter. Walter, we're still doing the McDonald trial, and Candace is on the stand.
Grab these of this for you.
All rise for the jury. Jury's all present.
Continue with this, I appreciate it. All right. Good morning, please be seated. Welcome back. Again, apologize for the delay. All the late plans, somehow things go awry, but we are ready to continue with Ms. Ruiz's testimony. She's being brought in, and I'll advise the jury as well as counsel. I do have 2 questions. I haven't forgotten about them. I'm going to let them finish, the state finish with direct examination, and then we'll ask these questions if appropriate. Oh, okay. While we're waiting for the witness to come in, I'll give you guys a little preview of scheduling. We're going to finish this witness, and if I recall correctly, this is the last witness for the state. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then the state will rest. The defense will have an opportunity to defend the case if they so choose. Again, they have no obligation to do so. We will have to take a recess at some point to settle jury instructions. That's where the court and the parties need to discuss those before they're given to you. You don't have to be part of that process. And trust me, you probably would not watch me. It's just a lot of legal talk. But once that is taken care of, we will bring everyone back for closing arguments and jury instructions. So we will see how today moves along. I know I haven't forgotten that someone has to leave town tomorrow, so we'll address that later on this afternoon and see where we are analyzed. All right? Welcome back. Good morning, Ms. Ruiz. I'll remind you that you're still under oath. All right? Please go ahead and have a seat. And state when you're ready, may continue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Welcome back, Candace. So yesterday before we broke, I had just played.
Close, Glenn, close. But White Lily is the only good brand to make biscuits. Like, you can't make biscuits with anything other than White Lily. Fun fact, we don't get White Lily flour up here. So I have to go far down south to get flour if I want to make biscuits. Because that's the only brand you use to make good southern biscuits.
Audio file number 03 on State's Exhibit 1. So you remember listening to that and the content of that?
I do.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you some questions about it now, okay? So whose voices did we hear on that call?
Mine and Michael's.
Okay. And was that recording of a phone call between you and Michael, the defendant?
It was, yes.
Do you remember where you were at the time of the call?
I do. I was off work that day, and I had gone back to my condo, so I was standing outside. In the background, you can hear motorcycles, so I was like standing outside of my condo having that conversation.
And am I correct that at some point in the call you made a reference to a dog bite?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me who was it that had suffered a dog bite?
Our son Mason.
Okay. And whose custody was he in when he had the dog bite?
In Michael's care.
And that's the dog bite you were referring to?
Yes.
And also on that phone call, did I hear correctly? I think at least a couple of times you mentioned that you were going to go to the DA for something. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. And when you were talking about going to the DA, what exactly were you talking about?
So at that time, I was not receiving child support, and it's an option for anyone to file with the district attorney if there's a court order and someone's not paying child support, to take that order to the district attorney and.
Judge, who would approach?
Okay.
So that objection is sustained in part. Ms. Commissioner, if you could just ask. What we talked about here at the bench.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, Candace, and I don't need you to go into detail about exactly what your issue was, but regarding the child support payments, where exactly did you go to handle that issue?
There's a building on Flamingo, which is the district attorney's child support division, and that's where I went.
Okay. In that division, you didn't see myself or my co-counsel, Mr. Rahman, there or anything?
No.
Okay. And it
It's
has
a completely separate, at least my understanding, it's completely separate from this building.
no. When you went there, you weren't asking anyone to file like criminal charges against him?
No, it's just to handle child support matters.
Okay, thank you. Now, also on that call, I heard you mention a decree, I think at least once. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay, what were you talking about there?
I believe in that phone call we were discussing Michael not signing the decree of divorce. And the decree of divorce is what would come after our final, we had I guess a hearing in August to determine child support custody and so on. And then at the end of that comes a decree of divorce, which grants the divorce, and it has to be signed by both parties. And so that's what I said in the call, which was, I just want you to sign the decree of divorce. And that's what I was referring to, because that hadn't been signed.
Okay, so is it fair to say at the time of the phone call, the decree of divorce existed, but it had not been signed by Michael, the defendant, yet?
Correct.
And is it fair to say that on that phone call, we heard you use what I'll term some strong language?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm not judging you for that or anything, but
No objection.
What's your legal basis, Mr. Miller?
No question. She's not allowed to make speeches.
I was about to ask a question.
All right, that's overruled for now, but please ask the question.
Is it safe for us to assume that if your children had been with you at the time, that you would not have used such strong language?
Yes.
Court's brief indulgence. Okay, and Candace, I'm now going to move on to the next file we have, which is audio file number 04 on State's Exhibit 1. Actually, first I'll check my volume settings and then I'll do that.
And do what the judge asked you to do. And if you can't do that, then you will only see them the second and fourth weekend of the month.
I'm not going to accept what the judge.
Until I go back and ask for full custody. No, I have primary custody. I'm saying no visitation. I will go back and fight for that. No, it's not what I want. You know what I really want in my heart of hearts? I want you to be a healthy parent. That's what I want. You're not. You're not. Unfortunately, you're so sick that you cannot see that the choices that you have made in regards to this marriage and in regards to our children have landed.
Okay, Candace, so I just played audio file number 04. Do you recognize the voices that we heard?
I do.
And whose voices were those?
Mine and Michael's.
Michael, the defendant?
Yes.
And was that a telephone call between the two of you?
It was.
And do you remember where you were at the time of this call?
I do. I was standing outside of our daughter's daycare before I went to pick her up.
And you made mention of the fact that you might seek full custody.
Yes.
So at the time of this phone call, what was the custody situation with the children?
Michael had 2 weekends a month. It was the second and fourth weekend of each month. And that would be defined by Fridays. And then he would drop off at daycare or school on Monday and I would pick up.
And now I'm going to play audio file 05, State's Exhibit 1.
They have to give you 2 weekends a month. It's almost impossible child gluten after you've been told by her primary care doctor and the surgeon that she's got a severe gluten allergy. You don't feed her fucking gluten.
Okay, just promise me that you're watching Joe and he's not alone with our kids.
Joe has never been alone with the kid.
Why do you
The
think-
first time that Malia had her prolapse, I wasn't even seeing Joe. I wasn't seeing
Some other
anyone.
guy?
I wasn't seeing anyone. Joe is the first person that I have dated since we've been apart.
That's not true. Okay, but
Okay.
whatever, okay. Please don't date Joe, like, what the hell, like.
It's not your business who I date. I need you to listen to me, Michael. Think about your choices. Think about the things that you've done. Think about the things that you've said. Think about all the choices that you've made. This is all your own fault. It has nothing to do with me.
Okay,
The judge did not give you that much time because you're a psycho. Like when you said, he's a fucking pilot. He had no other choice than to give you 2 weekends a month. And you're lucky that you got that. You are lucky. You are lucky. You should be thanking God that you got 2 weekends a month because you don't even deserve that.
But would you give me time with him, Candace? Regardless, like, come on.
Michael, you need to listen to me.
No, it's not good for the kids.
You have not done anything to provide financially for your kids,
Anything, 200.
medically for your kids. $200 a month? You're fucking kidding me. You're kidding me.
Candace,
You're kidding me.
please.
That's what you're gonna say?
No, listen, I've been really hurt, Candace. My attorney killed himself. Like, what the hell?
No.
Like,
No. You don't get to be manipulative. I don't fucking care. You pay what you're supposed to pay.
okay, and that's all you want?
That is for our children so that we can survive.
Okay, then promise me I'll see him more. Promise me you'll work with me.
I'm not promising you shit.
Let me say goodnight to
When
him.
you pay,
Like,
listen to me now.
let me go help.
When you pay what you're supposed to pay, I will be more willing because it will show me that you've changed. You have done nothing to show me that you've changed. Nothing. Nothing. I can't trust you. Until you make progress and you show me action with words. Because right now, all of your shit is just words.
I know, I've been very bitter, Candace. I've been bitter about this whole thing. I didn't want to be divorced. I
You don't
loved
need to
you.
be bitter. This is about our kids.
I didn't realize what I was
You
doing
don't
to
get to
you.
be in denial about the fact that Malia is gluten intolerant. You have to deal with it.
Okay, I will not give her gluten, I swear to you, anymore, okay? I'll do my best not to give
Buy
her.
them clothes and fit them.
I have lots of clothes for him, Candace. Thank you for giving me that, and I bought a bunch.
Buy them clothes that fit them.
I did, okay?
Mason and Malia need clean socks. They need clean underwear. They need clothes that fit them. I will go on Talking Parents, and I will give you a list of everything that Malia can eat. I will give you a list of all their clothing sizes and shoe sizes. You need to go out and buy them.
Candace, do you realize that, like Mason was feeding me for 75 days? You know that hurt me?
No, that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about the time that you didn't see him.
Okay.
I'm asking you
All right,
to go and do that to show me that you've changed, okay?
Okay, promise.
You need to pay child support and you need to pay the correct amount.
Promise me you'll let me see
You
him
need to
more.
pay child support and you need to pay the correct amount.
Okay, can you let me...
If you do not do that, I will file with the district attorney.
If I do that, can you let me see them more, please?
If you quit your job, they will put you in jail. So I will make sure that they do that.
Okay, Candace.
Because you will pay me what you need to pay
Put
me.
me in jail, Candace.
Or you'll go
Then
to
we're
jail.
going to be doing appeals for years. Like, come on, please, just work with me. We could have solved all this together. Just give me joint like I wanted.
Yeah, you're right. We could have. But unfortunately, you were too stubborn back then. And guess what? I got a better deal now than what we had negotiated in the beginning.
And Candace, we could have just we could have been together. Like, we could have.
Okay, listen, that's not an option, so don't even talk about it.
Please, Candace, like, it's not good for you.
It's not an option. It's not an option. It's not an option.
Let me love you again, Candace.
No.
Please, let
It's
me.
not an option.
Let me
It's not
love
an
you.
option.
I'll
It's
get,
not an option. It's not an option.
I'll get you whatever
It's not
you
an
want,
option.
Candace.
It's not an option. It's not an option.
We can move.
It's time for you to move on with your life.
I'm
I
trying.
am no longer in the picture, and you will not ever have me back because of what you
Candace,
did.
we're always going to be in the picture of each other's lives for the kids' sake.
No.
No, you want to cut me out of the kids'
We
lives?
communicated about the kids.
Do you really want to cut me out of the kids' lives, Candace?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because you're not a healthy person.
I am
When you
healthy.
can show me that you're a healthy person, then I will encourage more of a relationship. But right now you're not healthy, and you're still not healthy, and you're still not normal,
this is what both of our moms, this is what both of our moms.
Nobody gets a break from you. Nobody's life is peaceful because of you. You make everyone crazy. You're so goddamn crazy.
I just want to see my
Why can't you just see that?
I want to see my kids. I wish things could be occurred
You
before.
are so maddening. Do what you have to do, Michael, and I will be willing to work with you on time.
How?
What don't you hear about that?
How, Candace?
How many ways can I say that to you?
How will you work with me on time? Like, will you let me see the kids on my
I told
birthday?
you I will be more willing to allow you to call them. I will be more willing to let you see them during the week. But not until you pay everything that you need to pay and show me that you know how to take care of the kids.
Will you give me a
Because
first
that is my
refusal?
biggest concern.
Can you let me do that, Candace? I promise you I will take the best care of them.
I'm going to tell you right now, they've already submitted the decree. The court is going to sign on your behalf since you're refusing to sign. There will be nothing added to the decree.
Candace.
Period.
Candace, will you
They're going to sign on your behalf. They're granting the court. They submitted it on Friday. It doesn't matter. The only hope that you have of seeing the kids more often is going through me. And until you do what you're supposed to do in order to care for your kids,
You didn't let me see him for
I will not
75
work
days.
with you on time.
I will.
Are you listening to me?
I will, Candace. Work with me. Please let me see my own children. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
You're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. What did I just say, Michael?
You said when I take care of the kids, I am, Candace. I swear to you. I'll make sure they don't have gluten. I'll make sure they have clothes. I'll make sure you're getting your money that you want, that you need, I guess.
Okay.
Like, I just want to know that my kids are safe.
No. You will do those things or you won't see the kids.
I want to know my kids are safe. I want to see my kids
They're
more.
safe. They're safe. If you want to see them more, then do what you need to do. Every single last thing. You're going to pay for half of my credit card debt. You're going to get me out of this house. You're going to do all of that stuff, or you will only see them the second and fourth weekends of the month, period. You will start following the orders, or you won't see them more, period. Because I cannot trust that you know how to take care of anything. And when you show me that you can, I will foster a more healthy relationship between you and the kids. But until then, it is my job to protect them from you. Yeah, 100%.
This is exactly what both our
You're
moms
not
do.
listening. You're not listening.
I
You
can't.
don't understand. You still don't understand
Yeah,
that this is all your fault.
No, I don't understand how you could think that. Like, you could think that I would take care of my
Okay,
kids.
I'm going to just get off the phone
No,
because
don't.
we're not getting anywhere. Like,
Okay.
unfortunately, you're so sick that you cannot see it. The reason that you only have 2 fucking weekends a month is because of yourself. It is your fault. You did this. It's nothing that I did. Everyone in that courtroom felt sorry for me for having had to be married to someone like you. The bailiff, the judge, the attorney. Everyone else can't be wrong about you, Michael. It's 100% how I feel. The best decision I ever made was to leave you.
But please find somebody better than Joe. Like, I know you're better.
Maybe it's not your concern.
I'm scared to admit you're on my
The
kids'
kids are
money.
safe. I'm a good mother. I'm protected with my children. I would never date someone that would harm them.
Could you let me
And you need to
babysit
trust that.
babysitters, Candace? I don't know who's around my
Michael,
kids. Like, it's
do what you need to do. When
Okay.
you pay all of your debts and when you show me that you can take care of the kids, then I would be willing to consider letting you babysit. But not until you can show me that you can take care of the kids. They need new clothes for winter. They need new shoes for winter. They need socks and underwear. Malia cannot touch gluten. You are going to have to pack her back when you go places. You are going to have to make sure that when you eat at other people's houses that she has stuff that she can eat. That's what you do for your kids. That's how you take care of someone. When you show me that you can do that. When you return my shit, Michael. When you pay your bill. I'll consider.
And then, listen,
to show me.
will you sign this?
You have a whole lot to prove.
I'll get your attorney the claim deed thing, okay? Let's just get that done. And then you can have your money, and I know you're probably...
Michael, the rest of the money that you owe me, too. It's not just about the house stuff. Okay, you have to have my credit card. You have to pay $1,000 towards the house stuff. You haven't done any of that.
Yes, I don't have any money.
But I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. If you don't do that stuff, you won't see the kids. Period. Because that shows me that you're still not stable and you still can't follow directions and you won't be able to properly care for the kids. Hear me when I say that. I will come after you. I will.
Is that what you want me to do too?
Okay.
I just want to see that.
I don't know. Because really, between the two of us, I am fit, I'm stable, and you are not. And everyone sees that. Which is exactly what the police told us when they came on Sunday.
You're dating Joe Ruiz.
And exactly what they put in their report.
What?
That you're unstable and that your claims were bogus and that I am a fit and healthy mother and that they found nothing. So keep it up, Michael. I'm not scared of you. Let the police come over. Have them do a well check every single week, and if you want to, I'm fine with that. I have nothing to hide. I love my kids and put them first.
Joe's background doesn't look good in court. Are you that right?
Okay, Michael.
Drugs and different things. Like, yeah, okay.
Michael, my doesn't do drugs, and he never has done drugs.
The rape report, like.
The rape report.
Yeah.
What rape report?
Where he raped Nicole?
He didn't rape Nicole.
He didn't. Candace, you're the one that told me about that. Like.
Okay. That's a complete lie.
Please don't. Let's see. Fuck her. Like, please.
Okay. Who I date is not your concern.
Joe Ruiz, Candace, like, I'll do whatever it takes, Candace. Like, please, okay? Please, let me.
All right. Show me that you can do whatever it takes. Show me.
Okay, and then
Show me.
what? Could we ever be a family again? Like,
show me what you can do.
Then what?
Then what? I don't know. I guess you'll have to wait and find out.
Would you ever be open to that, Candace? Like,
show me what you can do, Michael. Show me.
okay, and then what, Candace?
I want you to call my attorney today. I want to see action today.
Okay, and then what, Candace? We can be done, like, what?
No, I'm not
You can let me
going
see the kids
to make any promises. I have to see consistency over a long period of time.
Would you ever get back with me?
You haven't done one fucking thing.
I know, I've been...
You don't deserve me. You're doing too much.
You're probably right, Candace, but I do deserve to have a family, and I do deserve you to love you again and for a second chance, okay?
Get it over there. Please try again.
Please, Candace. What was that?
Cringe. So cringy. Oh, it's hard to listen to.
What was that? What's that? Wait, what's that,
I
Candace?
gotta go.
Candace, wait, don't go, please.
I'm done talking to you. I'm gonna tell you right now, I know 100% we're gonna get off the phone and nothing will have changed.
I'll call your attorney. I'll do what it takes, okay?
True, Candace.
Please, just work
You're right.
Work with me. Let me see my children, all right? Like, that hurts me so bad, all right?
We'll see. When you show me that you can be responsible and that you can be stable and that you can take care of the kids and you can prove that to me, then we'll see.
Can we sit down and talk? Like, please?
No, there's nothing else to talk about. I'm getting off the phone with you. Goodbye.
All right, thanks, Candace.
Cringe. Oh.
Okay, Candace, I have a few questions for you about what we just listened to. Whose voices did we hear on that audio recording?
Mine and Michael's.
And was that a recording of a telephone conversation between the two of you?
It was.
And just to be clear for the record, whenever you say Michael, you mean the defendant?
Yes.
And do you recall where you were at the time of that phone call?
I was driving. I can tell because there was my keypad. I was typing in my keypad to my condo.
Is that the sort of computerized voice that we heard in the background?
Yes.
Okay, was it indicating like the wrong code at first?
Yeah, I typed in the wrong code at first. And then,
That's sustained. Could you just rephrase your question?
Okay, I'll move
Call
on,
of
Your Honor.
Duty.
You withdraw your
Amy.
question.
I like cash on delivery better though.
Candace, what was your divorce status at the time of this phone call?
The decree of divorce had been like typed, prepared, ready, but it had not been filed yet. And then as of, I mentioned in the phone call that Friday, it had been submitted and the judge was gonna sign. So we were just waiting for that signature to sign, for the judge to sign on his behalf.
And when you say on his behalf, you mean on
Michael's, yeah.
And then backing up, one of the calls that we listened to yesterday, you mentioned that we could hear your daughter Malia's voice in the background. And you testified that she was 2 years old at the time. And correct me if I'm wrong, but she was saying, is it right that she was saying dada or something like that?
She was saying hi, Dada.
And how old is your daughter Malia now?
She's 5 and a half.
Am I correct in assuming that she doesn't talk that way anymore?
Right, correct.
Okay, she doesn't say things like dada?
No.
And so for all of the telephone conversations that we listened to today and yesterday, during what time period did those occur?
All of those phone calls were from October 2016.
And you testified yesterday that during your marriage, the defendant was employed by Geotabs. In October of 2016, was he still working at that job?
I don't know. I know that there were, well, yeah, he was, because child support was ordered based on that employment. So yes, he was still employed.
Okay, at Geotabs?
Yes.
And were these 5 telephone conversations that we've listened to, are they all separate phone conversations that occurred at different times?
Yes.
And how can you tell that?
A lot of that is just the content. So, you know, for example, in one of the calls I say I'm going to have her allergy tested. In the next call I say I've had her allergy tested. I tell him in the phone calls that I'm going to, you know, see the pediatric GI, and then I say that in the next conversation, like I've seen a surgeon, you know. Also, just knowing when the CPS case was open, when the police reports were happening, on that last call, I tell him I'm gonna go on Talking Parents and send him a message of the kids' sizes. I was able to find that that took place in October of 2016. I still have a record of those. So basically, you know, the time frame of when we saw the doctors and so on. It takes a little while to get in to see a specialist. So her prolapse happened like the last week of August, and then it took time for us, about 4 weeks, to get in to see the GI, for her allergy testing and so on. So I know that all of those happened based on the conversations that we were having and the content, that those were all October of 2016.
And for anyone who doesn't know, could you explain just briefly what Talking Parents is?
It is an app, or you can go online and use it as well. It is court monitored, where the judge in the family court case had ordered Michael and I to communicate through Talking Parents. Any communication that we were to have at that time was to go through Talking Parents, just so the courts could monitor it and make sure that, you know, it's for safety purposes, to make sure that both parties are communicating. Kind of the term that they use for that is like business, so that you would
Things related to childcare?
Yeah, only, you know, there's no other reason to communicate on that in general, unless it's was about our children, or about like appointments or what have you. So.
And so Candace, so I want to turn you back to to the first time you listened to the recordings of these phone conversations, when you first realized that they had been recorded. After you listened to them for the first time, what did you do?
Sorry. Probably.
Is that too big of a question?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. After you listened to these phone recordings, did you eventually go to the police?
I did.
Okay. Why did you decide to report this to the police?
I think that there were a couple of different reasons. Number one, I found out that it was illegal and that, like obviously I didn't give my consent. So I felt like it was, honestly, like to be honest, I really didn't want to file the charges or like I didn't want to file a police report because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go through this process again. It's really stressful to come and to like be off work and I was raising 2 young kids, but ultimately I came to that decision because I spoke to my family about it, I spoke to my husband about it, and I think at the end of the day...
Objection narrative.
And I asked why did she file the police report, so her answer is kind of expanded.
I'm going to overrule the objection for now. You may finish now.
I had to decide, am I going to be the person to walk away when something like that happens to you, like when you're victimized, or do I report it? And I think I decided after really thinking about it and talking to people in my life that cared for me, I want to be a person that stands up when something is done wrong to them. And I want my children to see that example in me. That if someone victimizes you, you don't walk away in silence, that you stand up to that person. And honestly, I don't know that I would do it again because, like I said, it's been very stressful and...
Objection narrative.
That's going to be sustained at this point. So we should give us another question.
Okay.
If you want to
Well,
clarify anything, you may do so.
Okay, well, we'll move on. I think you answered that question, Candace. Court's brief indulgence. Candace, without going into details about reasons for why the custody arrangement may have changed, just at the time that you reported this to the police, what was the custody arrangement regarding your children?
I had primary physical and legal, or sole legal custody, and that arrangement was with Michael having no visitations.
And so regarding, actually, and Your Honor, I have state's proposed exhibit number 3, which is something both you have seen and defense counsel has seen, and it's a certified court document of a decree of divorce for the divorce in this case. So I ask that just be admitted pursuant to NRS 52.125 as a certified public record.
All right, Ms. Miller, you're still objecting?
Pursuant to the objections voiced yesterday, for the reasons outlined yesterday, I object to it.
All right, your objection is noted, it is overruled. It is a certified public document. It will be admitted pursuant to the NRS statute regarding public documents. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Of course, we can hold You've seen it before, we should with Mark. Partial foundation. And Your Honor, may I approach the witness with state proposed exhibit 7? It's been shown to defense counsel.
You may.
Candace, I'm showing you state's proposed exhibit 7. If you would just take a look at, it's 2 pages, correct?
Yes.
Okay, just take a look at both pages and then tell me if you recognize it.
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Wait, did you look at the second page as well?
Yes.
Okay. And so what is state's proposed exhibit 7?
This is an email. It's like a chain email between the detective, Detective Kirchner, as well as Mark DeZero was also copied on these emails.
Are they fair and accurate copies of emails that occurred between yourself and Detective Karchner that Mark DeZero was copied?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit State's proposed Exhibit 7.
Relevance. Objection, relevance. What's the email, what does it matter?
That's overruled. It was admitted pursuant to the link of yesterday. This is the foundation has been laid, it was appropriate, and it's actually overruled.
So it will be admitted as Exhibit 7?
Yes, it will be. And you can publish it if you need to. Thank you.
All right, course brief indulgence.
Okay, this is a good breaking point. This was good. With Candace on the stand and those phone calls. This was way better than yesterday's. And there's more to come. She's still on the stand. Crying. Mueller can't handle women crying. But he's very used to it. Guys, thank you so much for coming out today. I really, really, really appreciate it. I'm going to start OJ soon, so I'll see some of you in a minute. I'll see the rest of you maybe later, maybe tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a great day. See ya.
Got these life echoes, digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Dreaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Her eyes hear a sky so blue. In her jokes there's a truth so true. With each stream she brings the light, turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle she lights the way. Kathy's laugh